Yep. And finally, we're going into topic 4, which is our final review of this episode, and it is AB6IX, or AB6 if you want to be proper, debut album Be Complete, which Andrew will also be running.
All right, so AB6.
101, is this our first 101 branch? Like,
yes, proper group, like an actual group, because most. Well,
we've gotten solos. I feel like most of 101's gonna do solos.
I mean,
we're not gonna get a bunch of groups like we did with
technically New West was the first, but of original
New
groups
West doesn't count.
Groups
That's
that
cheating.
launch groups that launched after 101 disbanded. Yeah, AB6 is I guess the first proper 101 branch group. So. Yes, as I mentioned before, this has 101 members. This is from Brand New Music, and it has Lee Dae-wi and Park Woo-jin, who were in 101, and it has Im Young-min and Kim Dong-hyun, who are part of MXM. So Brand New Music had a really good plan, considering that Dae-wi and Woo-jin got in 101. They're like, okay, we'll just do like a subunit with Young-min and Dong-hyun in the meantime, and they got pretty popular as well. So like, there's a lot of hype coming in for this group. There was an additional member. His name is Jung-woon. I thought it was just going to be like the 101 members and MXM members, so I'm surprised that they ended up adding him. But this guy, like, all that's really known about him is that he was a former trainee of both YG and JYP. He's been trained for like 6 years. He was on the Stray Kids survival show for all of like 2 seconds or something like that, because there was an episode where they had like a competition between like YG and like JYP trainees. I don't know exactly because there was that one episode where they were covering YG songs or something like that.
Well, no, there's a like ongoing like fun competition with JYP and YG where they're boy groups as trainees like compete against each other.
Okay.
And they and JYP and YG themselves actually like judge them and like pick a winner. So like GOT7 did this with like Winner and Icon as trainees, and then so Stray Kids did it against like a lot of the Treasure Box people.
Yeah, so apparently
on the Stray Kids show.
Yeah, so Woong was apparently like a part of that group, but he wasn't shown on the TV show for all that much. So yeah, I guess it's just a bit of background going into the group, and now on to their music. They're starting off with this opening track called Absolute, and what a freaking like banger of an opening track, to steal, I guess, to Baron's words. Just as a big fan of like, I guess 101 to some degree, I feel like Woojin was kind of like I guess he was kind of like buried underneath like all like the huge members there, and because 101 was mostly vocal focused, not as much like rap focused. And if there were rap parts, they'd give most of it to just like Kang Daniel, because Daniel's like the face of that group essentially. Like he's like the only one that some people even care about sometimes. So I guess I was just thrown off guard a bit hearing how like ham Woojin goes in this opening part of the rap. Im Young-min as well does a really good part in the rap part. So as I mentioned in the Ace review, as a fan of like super hype boy group songs, like this just did it for me like very well. I love the really cool harmony part that they do in the chorus, just kind of like almost like Monsta X just to some degree in that sort of way. So really enjoyable opening track for me. I see you disagree.
I was like, this is gonna be backwards day, where Andrew likes.
I like
everything.
the album more than everyone else does.
We don't like it.
I'm gonna die on this goddamn hill for some group that I don't even care that much about.
Cooper's review after I wrote mine, and when you get to his thoughts, they're gonna be very similar. But to me, this song is. It is like Monsta X, I agree, but it felt like it was missing something that Monsta X has. I don't know what. I felt like it just didn't match the energy level and the charm that Monsta X does better than most groups in this type of song. It just, parts of it felt too like sluggish and like they weren't hype enough for the instrumentals of the song. And then on top of that, I think the instrumentals themselves are much more generic than Monsta X usually does, especially the chorus. The chorus is very like generic hype EDM song. I wish there was a little bit more going for it. I don't I don't hate it. It's just it was too generic, and it felt like they were trying to do what Monsta X does, but just weren't able to do it well enough. So it made me like it less than I think it would have if they just tried something different. And there's another song on this album where they do something similar, which we'll get to later. And I think once again it was a detriment.
So Cooper's thoughts were, I didn't really enjoy this song. Just starting right off the bat. He says, I don't typically enjoy Monsta X songs done by other groups. I don't think they have the vocal or rap ability to carry the loud and overbearing production. Overall, a mediocre start to the album. Wow, just not mincing his words there. Next, we're on to Shining Stars, which, again, in most contexts, I'd say it'd be your, I guess, prototypical, like, standard, like, sentimental EDM boy group song. But
yep,
in that sense, it kind of reminds me of remember that song, because you know how BTS did a lot of the singles like last year, Euphoria by Jungkook.
Yeah,
like
Euphoria.
That song.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
Euphoria is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, I freaking love Euphoria, so I got kind of a similar vibe to that, which is why I didn't mind it as much. Also, just again, I just like Daewoo as a vocalist a lot, so I think he shines on these songs especially. So yeah, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, so yeah, this is a standard, like, your acoustic tropical house sentimental song, like hints of tropical house. It's not a tropical house song per se, but it's got those hints. But I think this song fits their vocal color and their style much better. It's got a pretty typical tropical house chorus, but I don't mind that. Everyone knows I like that. And I thought the rap stands out much better in the song too. Overall, I just think this song fit them a lot better than them trying to do what Monsta X does.
Okay,
and doing it worse.
I feel that too. Yeah, I definitely liked a lot because you have such strong vocalists here, especially in with like Daewoo. So yeah, it kind of get underutilized if you're just doing hype EDM bangers all the time. So yeah, I do appreciate that part of this. Cooper didn't have much to say. He said a pretty standard mid-tempo tropical house boy group song. Nothing much to say about this. It's fine.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, if I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah. Moving on, we're on to the lead single off this mini album entitled Breathe. And definitely a appropriate title of the song, just because I was breathing mostly a sigh of relief that, oh my god, it's actual good music. I was just kind of worried about what AB6IX would do, like, stylistically.
Yeah. As
someone that likes what Daewoo usually does in terms of production, he worked on the production of the song with freaking Rhymer of all people, like the big mind behind Brand New Music. So yeah, this is all that I wanted from like a Daewoo produced like debut single. In all honesty, he definitely feels a bit influenced, or you feel that influence of like what 101 was doing, like with like Energetic to some degree. Like, it shares a lot of that same DNA with it. And I think in this song especially, it shows a really good balance of, again, those vocalists of Daewoo and Youngmin and Woojin's rapping. That part that he has in the chorus, like, I wanna breathe, just set me free, is incredible. It's so him too. Like I understand, like I completely understand like what what he's going for here. I'd say where it kind of falls flat a bit is like that second half of the chorus is like it just, the vocal melody kind of feels at odds with like the instrumental, so it kind of it sounds super messy, and yeah, that kind of like turned me off a bit from it. But yeah, I mean, I just because I love that chorus part with Daewoo so much, it didn't kill the song for me entirely. As for the music video, I like the outfits, but I mean, this is just like, I thought Ace's music video was kind of bog standard. This is even Yeah, more standard than that. But I mean, I'd say like the visual, like the choreography and the actual like outfits definitely made up for it. I really love the type of, they use like a lot of just like hand movements that go along with like syllables, like I want to breathe, just set me free, like that. Like again, I love that kind of dancing, and it works so well for this type of like house songs. Another like debut or another single that we're reviewing that I surprisingly enjoyed more than I thought I would.
Yeah, this was 100% the best song on the album.
Oh, by light years.
Stand out by a mile. This was definitely the right song for the single. I thought the rap line showed more skill than an absolute here, and I just love the use of, I mean, everyone knows that we love deep house style like instrumentals and stuff,
suckers for
but
it,
what this 100% very much reminded me of GWSN, because he even used marimbas and bells like synths on top of the deep house. It was so much like GWSN singles, or like that. Like I thought that was really cool to hear a male group do that similar kind of vibe, because it's a deep house. It's got the same bell marimba synths on top of the deep house. Like it's very, very similar.
This is male like Puzzle Moon, not like,
puzzle. Yeah, exactly.
It's literally male Puzzle Moon.
The instant I heard it, I was like, oh, this is GWSN with guys singing. I'm like, okay, I'm into this. I just wish the album tracks matched the level of GWSN's album tracks. But yeah, I thought this was a fantastic single and a good debut song. And like you said, though, the music video is very bare bones. I thought there was some good use of color. But yeah, overall, nothing stood out, but the choreo was really good, and they did it really well.
So Cooper's thoughts were this really hard carries the entire album for me. I absolutely love the house vibes here. It's completely up Davies' alley, and I think this is a sound they should stick to going forward, definitely. MV is really clean and crisp. The choreo was fun, and with just 5 members, it looks like a really like tight choreography. So I agree with everything Cooper says here. So finally, they're on the board with a song after just like being boring, I guess, for the rest of it with Cooper. Next, we have Friendzone. I don't know. I really don't know how to describe this song in all honesty. Interesting lyrics. Definitely. Got me in the friend zone. I want you in my love zone. Yeah, Davey showing his English right there. It's catchy, but I'd say it definitely is kind of like forgettable to some degree. Like I feel like the album kind of like drops off a bit like in this middle section between these two, this song and the next one, in all honesty, just because it's good, but I mean after coming off Breathe, it's just like, oh, we're back to this again. So that's just kind of how I felt with it. So this is the other song I was talking about when I felt like they're trying to do something other groups do better, because this reminds me of the stuff on Winner's album or something Pentagon would put out, especially with that like bouncing piano. It's just like that fun boyish song that like the whole last album that we just reviewed from Winner or stuff Pentagon puts out, but it's not done as well as those groups. So like once like the first song sounded like a Monsta X song, but just didn't reach the level that I felt they needed to do that type of song. And this is the same. It's not a bad song, but the chorus just doesn't have the like energy and impact it needs for this type of song. So like it just felt like they were trying to do something Pentagon or Winner would put out and just didn't do it well enough. Coincidentally, Cooper actually says he really likes this song. He said it's really catchy and bouncy track. He got a bit of 17 vibes from it, which he approves of, and said it's one of his favorites. I mean, I get that, but again, there's not as much like vocal, I guess, just differentiation or just like anything to make it interesting, because literally like the entire chorus is just like repeating how much he wants to get out of the friend zone and be in the love zone, I guess. Just I they could have done a bit more with this in my eyes.
Yep.
Moving on, we're on to Light Me Up. This is I don't know, this would probably be like the weakest for me, in all honesty. Like it's not horrible, it's just at this point I'm just like it kind of sounds like they're trying to do. This is the song I really felt like they're trying to do like other boy group type songs, but just not as well. Yeah, and it just kind of suffers for that in that degree. But yeah, it kind of sounds like they're trying to like draw on some of the house vibes that Breathe has, but just it doesn't have the same impact whatsoever. So yeah, I just skip this song a lot.
Yeah, I think the glitchy instrumental chorus carries the song, because overall it's a funky dance track, but the vocals aren't that impressive and the instrumentals in the verse are very basic. It just overall the song just seems pretty lifeless and generic. Like it just doesn't match what it's trying to do at all.
I think the reason why is like because I feel like Daewoo was mostly involved in like the first half of the album. The second half of the album has a lot more like other like producers. I mean, he does a lot of the writing and everything, but still, I feel like he works better when he's the one like he has his finger in the pie, so to speak.
Just keep producing Eyes One Single songs. Didn't he do did Airplane or did he do Up?
Yeah, he did one of
those are like two of the best songs.
Basically, Daewoo is just like a guy that wants to be in a girl group so bad. Yeah, just if you just do that, like just with a guy group, I'm all for it. In all honesty, he does it so well.
GWSN male version.
Yeah, that's all we're asking for, really, from AB6IX.
Guys in the park, guys.
Yeah, guys in the park. So
which would still be GWSN.
Yeah, GWSN.
Which would be confusing. Sonyeon instead of Sonyo.
Yeah,
Boys in the Park.
Cooper said, this is the weirdest track on the album, has a light dubstep to it, which kind of turned me off, but the chorus is so upbeat and fun. Really enjoyed the bass in the song too. So pretty much all these songs I thought was freaking boring. Like Cooper just loved.
Cooper liked the ones we hated. And
yeah. Cooper has weird freaking opinions anyway, so.
He worked on Airplane.
Yep.
So.
Which is probably like one of the god tier like freaking Eyes One album tracks. 100%. So moving on, we're on to Dance for Two, which is their sort of like acoustic like ballady type song. But I like this because like one, it's just again kind of pulling on one-on-one influences and more of a vocal showcase as well. There's a really cool like electric guitar part that they pull in towards the end too, which I really like. So yeah, again, it's a song that I liked a lot more, mostly just because again, the more they showcase the vocals, I feel like the better the song quality ends up being. So yeah, this was way better than the last two songs for me.
Yeah, for me, it's a ballad.
It's a ballad.
It's a ballad. I thought I did like the electric guitar part you talked about, but overall, I felt like the vocals were fine, the production was fine, but nothing really blew me away. And I thought for the rappers, the second rapper did a good job matching the sentimental tone, but something about the first rapper's like tone was a little too rough in my opinion for the type of song that they were going for. But that was just something weird I noticed.
Cooper enjoyed it. He said, fine acoustic closer, enjoyed the vocals and production here for the most part. Okay, so finally we agree on something. And closing out this album, possibly the most controversial song in all of K-pop, apparently, Hollywood. So for those that don't know the backstory behind Hollywood, when Brand New sent their trainees to Produce 101 Season 2, when they did their first evaluations, this was the song that they showcased for the trainers, and they made such a big deal about, oh my god, they self-produced their own song for Produce 101. And
back then it was unheard of for
groups. It's literally unheard of. Yeah,
very few groups did it.
Doing original songs.
Now it's a little bit more
now it's just a thing where everyone's trying to be the next like Brand New essentially, like we saw in Produce X101.
Yeah, it was like back then it was like 17 was like the only people self-producing stuff. I feel like
so it seems like most people like really hate this song, but I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. I maybe it's just because I've had experience. Like I've heard this song for like the past 2 years already, or just like snippets of it, so it's not as abhorrent or as jarring to me. But I mean, I like this song. I really don't know how else to defend this song other than I like it as a sucker for like really.
I mean,
I like these like,
I like
Fast and
plenty
Furious
of songs that lots of people think are trash. So
yeah, I mean, like. And I hate a lot of songs, or I think a lot of songs are trash that a lot of people like. So just go figure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Spoilers. People have differing opinions.
Yeah, basically. So
music subjective.
Subjective. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's good. In all honesty, I think it's a good song because mostly between this and Absolute, I don't know which would do better in terms of that like Fast and Furious, like Middle Eastern type hype boy group type song. But I mean, I overall, I think I'm just glad to see it like finally see the light of day, or just that they actually like. It's a song that was in like you heard all of like 2 minutes of, like 1 or 2 minutes of on Produce 101, and they end up like releasing the song on its own. Like I remember like Cheetah, like when she was talking, she even referenced Welcome to My Hollywood on the show, like
this
she was
season.
Like she was talking about like how like impressive that is that they did all that stuff. So it's a song that carries some importance still, so I feel like it deserves some recognition for that. Nate, what were your thoughts? I want to see if you
I'm on the side that hates it.
I
didn't like it in P101. I don't like it now. I think it's Absolute. It's super generic like Absolute, but on even a worse level, because it just in the chorus, the "Who am I" part sounds so lifeless, and it's supposed to be so hype. I just like it's just, to me it shows like it's missing that like idol artist's charm, that like it shows that they were trainees. Like it doesn't have that level of production that I think a K-pop song needs, especially one that's supposed to be this hype. I think the rap is decent, but overall the song is just a pretty big miss. It's the same things I didn't like about Absolute, but on an even higher level because it's 2 years old, and they have 2 years of less of experience to take on when Dave, I assume, because Dave worked on Absolute a lot too.
He worked on it all on his own. I'm pretty
okay. So Absolute is kind of like the sequel to the song. And
it's like
you can tell that
it's like Hollywood
he improved
2.0.
on it. He still didn't improve on it enough for me to enjoy it, but he definitely improved on it. I think this is a worse version of it.
Cooper is probably like he won't touch this song with a 10-foot pole for the most part. He said, why has this song returned to continue to curse my ears? Welcome to my Hollywood. Like, what does that even mean? It's so stupid and cringy, and I listen to K-pop every day. Oh, yeah, Cooper's not feeling this one at all.
Nope.
So, on to scores.
It'll be a rough one.
I'm probably going to be the highest one in all honesty. I'm probably going to
Maybe.
Because for single, probably. I gave for Breathe, I gave it 3 points out of 3.5 just because
you were so close. Why didn't you just do it? It was 3 in a row. Just give it the full.
I really had. It felt so messy in that second half of the chorus. Like I was so ready to just love this song completely. But yeah, it's just that tiny part that bothers me a bit. But I mean, I agree with Cooper. Like Breathe is exactly what they should be doing from now on. In all honesty, it's Daewi's. That's his wheelhouse. That's what he does so good at. So I feel like that's what they need to focus on. Album tracks, I'm giving 2.5 out of 3.5, which might be a bit generous, but I feel like in general, like let Daewi like be in charge of everything, because I feel like the songs that they were giving off to other people or other producers just didn't work as well with them, and it might be that sort of thing where just too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, where like another producer gives them the song, and I guess just like someone with as much creative input as a Daewi just wants to do it one way, and the producer might want to do it another way, so it doesn't mesh as well. Just different ideas or just different like approaches to the songs, so it just comes out like a hot mess. So yeah, I think they really should just pull the trigger, because this kid knows what he's doing when it comes to production. So just let him like oversee the whole thing. Like have him work with Reimer. He really needs to be like the creative visionary behind this whole group. 2 out of 3 for concept. Again, just that's mostly just on the choreography and like the outfits. Like this music video just did absolutely nothing in terms of like anything interesting, other than when it was just like, ooh, they're dancing again. That's basically like all I really got out of the music video. So that is a total of 7.5 out of 10, which is still a good score for me technically. I mean, definitely like not as like outstanding as everything else we reviewed, but I'd say
not what we would hope.
Yeah, not. Yeah, I'd say it's it's what we call top heavy album, where it's mostly just hard carried by the single, and then the album tracks are just meh. So what was your score?
So yeah, for me, I gave it a 4.5 out of 7 for music, and that was pretty much all Breathe and Shining Stars. Everything else was not good, in my opinion. So yeah, like you said, it was 100% hard carried by the single. That would be the majority of the points it got. And I gave it the same as you, a 2 out of 3 for concept, which for me it was between 1.5 and 2. I decided to be a little generous, because yeah, the choreography is really good. But yeah, like you said, same reasoning. Choreography hard carried that score. The music videos super generic otherwise.
So that's a total of
6.5 out of 10, which for me is like a 3 for you.
Yeah, that's like a devastating score for an 8. So,
Cooper or me or Jacob?
You should be Jacob's first. Yeah.
Jacob said the first track on the album, Absolute, is overall decent, but it relies too heavily on tropes that countless other groups have already done before, mostly in the over-reliance on the industrial instrumentals that groups like Monsta X and Blackpink have been using for a long time. The rapping is pretty good though, all things aside. Then we go a sudden 180 into Shining Stars, which is a Chainsmokers style pop ballad. I won't knock points for the Chainsmokers style instrumentals because the drop is kind of interesting to me actually, but the production on the vocals or the vocal performances kind of fall flat on the track. Breathe was the first track on the album that I liked quite a bit. The future-based style instrumentals were nice. Friendzone was pretty nice as well, but I feel like it bleeds into Breathe a little too much as far as my recollection of the 2 tracks goes. Light Me Up was probably the best song on the album, with a really nice build-up and drop in the chorus, super fun. Dance for Two was a generic boy group ballad that we've already heard 1,000 times before. Lastly, I feel like Hollywood is a better version of Absolute, that while it does suffer from the same cliches, ends up being much more interesting. Overall, this album is fine. The main problem it faces is that it relies way too heavily on all the cliches I've been calling out for the last year or so. The middle 3 tracks are definitely the highlight of the album, and the other 4 fall flat. And he gave it a 4 out of 7 for music and a 2 out of 3 for concept, so a 6.
Oof. He said it was an oof, so I mean, not surprising. So Cooper's overall closing thoughts are, overall I would say this is an okay first effort. There are some standout tracks here like Breathe and Friendzone. I know Hollywood is an old song, so hopefully they never go near it again. Oh, you know they're gonna perform it all the time. But still, it's on the album, so I gotta count it. Youngmin, Woojin, and Daewoo have writing credits on every song here, Daewoo on production. They show promise for self-producing idols. 4 out of 7 for music, 2.5 out of 3 for concept, for a 6.5 out of 10. So yes, I think 6.5 ends up being the average score that we total score for this.
Yeah, it would be 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, and you give it a what, 7 or 7.5?
7.5.
So a 7. So yeah, it would round
down to
a 6.5.
I mean, that's not too bad of a first effort, and I feel it's mostly they just got to do better with album tracks, because I feel like they do have something here, and honestly,
the single we all like the single
a
lot, so I think fortunate for them, most K-pop fans don't listen to album tracks.
But I mean, everyone that knows this group is probably gonna know what Hollywood is already. So
yeah, but they're probably just gonna blindly like it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
100%.
They're gonna be me. They're 101
branch
101 fans that just like everything.
One thing I'll say though, I'll make this prediction. When we see AB6IX at KCON,
we're gonna see
New
them
York
live
2019. I think this is where we're gonna get our NCT 127 "Come to Jesus" moment. Not for me, because I already like Hollywood. But I think when you and Jacob see Hollywood live, you think it's gonna be a fucking amazing song.
Oh, I think it'll be a good live song, but I just think overall, when I'm listening to it like on my own, I would just rather put on Monsta X songs because they do them much better.
Yeah, I guess, but that's for later. We'll find out. So, what are your thoughts on AB6IX's debut? Are you going to follow them like you followed 101 if you're a big 101 fan? Do you like Breathe? Do you think Hollywood should get launched into the surface of the sun? I don't think... Cooper does. Cooper definitely does. But I mean, what were your favorite songs? What were your favorite album tracks? Let us know.
Yep. So yeah, that's it for episode 122. If you enjoyed any of our reviews or our pristine / hatred on Pledis discussion, which honestly wasn't as much hatred as I thought we would have. We were pretty fair.
I went through the anger phase yesterday, so
well, yeah, I went through the anger phase a year ago, so but yeah, if you enjoyed listening, please check us out. Review us on iTunes if you can. Check us out on all of our different... We do audio versions if you don't want to watch on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube and you'd rather just listen to it in the car or at work or whatever, we are on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and then just random other things, because Stitcher like broadcasts to
everything.
Basically there's like 8 billion random unknown podcast apps that just rip off from Stitcher's feed.
Yeah,
if you're on Stitcher, you just end up on like a billion different services.
But I mean, it definitely helps. It definitely helps, because I feel like our audio numbers are really strong. Like,
our audio numbers.
There's like 100 or 200 people that listen to every new episodes every day. So.
Yep.
We don't forget about you people. Like I know we focus a lot on the YouTube, but yeah, our audio listeners are definitely a really big part of us, our fan base.
If you want to help us grow that, review us on iTunes. And then I don't think you can review on Spotify.
No, you can't. You can follow us on Spotify.
You can just follow. Okay.
I think us on Spotify. It'll like notify you or whatever. Maybe if like new episodes come out, or just whatever we're up to. I guess.
Yeah, and then subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already. Like the videos, comment your thoughts on the albums or the discussion we had, and of course join Discord. It's the best way to contact us. We're there hanging out all the time, and there's a nice small little community of people that hang out there all day every day talking about K-pop and random other things. So come join that if you need a nice little community to chat about all things K-pop.
We don't bite, I promise. Well, I don't know about like maybe Baron will bite.
Egg
He's
does.
a snake.
Egg does. Baron's a snake, so I mean, like,
he's gonna bite.
That's par for the course.
As snakes do.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for episode 122. We have any closing things? Check out ProduceCast episode 11. We talked about the first 2.5 episodes of the new season of Produce 101, Produce X 101. So we'll be doing that in the next couple months as the show concludes. Every 2.5 to 3 episodes, we'll put out a new ProduceCast discussing basically at this point every new elimination.
Every time we have to say goodbye to people. Unfortunately,
we'll put out a new episode after we have the time. It'll be a week or so after that elimination, because we need time for subs to come out. We need to watch all the episodes. We need to record.
I wrote like freaking
stuff.
16 pages of notes for ProduceCast, and that's like I watched like 5 straight hours. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, so it takes a little bit of time. So please be patient. But yeah, if you're a fan of Produce, definitely check that out. And that's it. Thank you, and good night.
Fuck Pledis.
Throbbingly fuck Pledis.
Don't say that.
It got sexual there.
Again, Red Flavor, Power Up, everybody was singing along is amazing. And then this is a weird thing. After they stopped to talk for a while, which is normal in a concert, they did With You instead of like, they did With You, which is like a B-side. Yeah, exactly.